But at one point or the other, also you started to play with bands. So maybe you can tell us about what was happening there in Goa, the first full moon parties and how you got yourself involved more in the Goa
Well, just
movement.
uh, because of music, because of my music and playing guitar, I came to Goa then more every Christmas and whatever, and then met other musicians and then one of our friends, and then we used to jam and whatever, and then even we rented some. We knew some Goan band that we used to rent some speakers from, practice like playing a band, and simultaneously some of our one of our friends went to Hong Kong who had some spare money, and he bought. Hong Kong was a duty-free port then,
Mm.
so he bought like two twin reverbs and a basement amplifiers and two Stratocasters and a basement Telecaster bass and
Oh,
a drum
wow.
set, and brought them back to Goa.
Oh,
And then
wow.
there was a little stage on the beach uh, in South Anjuna, and every full moon they'd bring the equipment out, and there'd be jam session.
Mm.
And and then we wanted to make band also, so sometime we got some equipment and practiced and tried to make songs instead of just jam session. And then at one point, uh, must have been around, in the mid 70s, probably around 76. Uh, uh, the guy who had the amplifiers didn't really want to do it anymore, and so he offered them to me, and I got them.
Mm.
And then I went to California and brought back a nice mixer. And in Bombay, I had this Roger Drago, who is a big sound man of India till today. He
Mm.
used to make amplifiers and speakers in his garage in Bandra. I had him build me a bunch of speakers. We made a big sound system, a PA system with the mixer. Took
Oh.
that on the boat down to Goa. I had rented a house in Shapura called the Music House that was at the top of the hill there, and we put all the equipment in there, and I lived there in the music house, and it was a nice big house with a big, there was nothing around it in those days. Now it's all built up. It
Mm.
was just a big house, and down was another big house that's now Roma Cafe or whatever,
Ah, really? So that
Yeah, they were
hill.
the landlords of this other big house, music house, and otherwise there was nothing around. So it had a
Okay.
nice big veranda. So I had the equipment set up there. It was a place for all the musicians to come and meet, and then different bands formed, and each day band had a different day to rehearse. And on Saturdays nights we had played off the porch of the big house. There was a big veranda, and people danced here. And then going down the whole driveway, there was like a flea market. And and then on Christmas, New Year, and full moons, we had a stage at the beach, and we used to play down at the beach. And even the year 77, 78, we had a party from Christmas Eve till 2nd January at the beach, like more than a week or whatever.
Okay.
And
Oh, wow.
we would have live music at night with the DJs in between. And during the day, our equipment man, his name was Cowboy, he was uh, camped out in a tent with his dog there at the stage, and he would just change the tapes, and it was blasting out music on the sound system, and while people were swimming at the beach and whatever. So it
Wow.
was quite a, in those days we could do what we want because people respected the live music very much too, because Goans had a tradition of live music, right? And they could
Mm.
understand that kind of music.
Okay.
Later, when the boom, boom, boom and big sound systems and techno music came in, they didn't understand it anymore, and they got disturbed by it, and then problems happened. But when there
Okay.
was live music, there was never any problem. Everybody loved it. Even the locals used to come and watch the bands play. I was still into the old music, but then it started to come over this more underground synthesizer drum machine music from Europe, which
Mm.
they called wave music in the
Mm.
beginning.
Mm.
And and then I heard that from my friends, and I thought that's the next thing, and I incorporated some of it into my set. But then people didn't like that; they wanted the old music,
Mm.
and then I didn't even like the old music anymore, and I ended up selling all my old tapes and just collecting that new music. And then I lost a lot of friends at that point because people couldn't understand. They had always seen me as the quintessential rock and roller, and suddenly here I am going for this electronic music,
Mm.
which some of them were calling machine gun music, and I don't know, the bass, or whatever. So anyway, that was a growing period also, and there was a lot of resistance, but there was a lot of people also that liked it, and took a few years, but nearly everybody came into it after.